Now, when you look at this is kind of strange, like I said. It's unlike all the other names that you read in the Bible, like the strong tower or mighty or all these other names. What about this name? This is really unusual to me when God says, this is my name. I'm jealous, because jealous sounds very negative, right? That's a negative term, right? When you talk about jealousy, or envy, that's very closely related to jealousy. Like, is that God? Is that who he is? Is that his character, to be jealous? That sounds very negative to me, right? In fact, when you look at the term Kanna, it's not just jealous. It's an intense jealousy. That's why it says it's a consuming fire. There's like a passion, a raging intensity about this emotion that God is trying to tell him that he feels. This intense jealousy that he has. And you might think, that sounds even more negative, right? This doesn't sound like something positive. I mean, this is the picture I imagine when I hear that word. It's like this green with envy, this intense anger and intensity. This is what I picture when I picture Kanna. Because humanly speaking, this is not positive, right? When I think about jealousy, it's not positive, because I've had times like that. I've had times in my relationships in the past where I've been jealous. Okay, so I remember when I first met my wife. Okay, so I first met my wife. We met at a church in Irvine. Okay, and I was a Bible study leader of our young adult group. Okay, and after service, we would have Bible studies in these little trailers. Okay, so after our service, we would go to these little trailers, and then we would break up into little Bible study groups. Okay, and I led a group. So I remember one particular Sunday, I went to my room where I had my Bible study, and then this woman walks into my room that I had never seen before. And I was like, oh, who's this, right? And so it was who was eventually going to be my wife, Susan. So she walked into the room, and I started talking to her a little bit. And I still remember another Bible study leader walked down the hallway and looked in and said, hey, Susan, you're in the wrong room. You're in my group. And this guy, whose name is Gary, I'm like, Gary, what's going on? Why did you say that, right? I really wanted her to be in my Bible study group. Okay, so after Bible study, we kind of hang out, and then we started hanging out together, right, as friends. So like we'd go out in a big group, and we'd go out to lunch, and we kind of hang out. I kind of get to know her, and then we started spending more time together. But this was a weird time for me, because I had just come off a really bad relationship, bad breakup. It was really bad, right? And I was really kind of messed up after this relationship. And so what I did after this breakup, I told the Lord, I'm going to devote myself to you. No more women, no more relationships, only you. I'm only going to be focused in on you. Okay, that's the commitment I made to God. Okay, that's the time when I met Susan. Okay, so that's the time when she came into my Bible study room. That's the time when we started hanging out. And so I was very conflicted when we were getting closer together, right? Very conflicted, because I made this commitment to God, this vow to God that it's only going to be you, no women, no distractions, no one distracting me from you, Lord. And then this woman comes into my life, right? And so she had a hard time as we started getting closer and spending time with together. She's like, I can tell you're like undecided. Like, you need to make a decision. Like, are you going to be with me or not with me, right? And I'm like, this is hard for me. I feel like you're like tempting me to like go against my vow against the Lord, and you're like da-da-da. And on the other hand, but I really liked her, right? But I was struggling. Okay, I was struggling during this time, and then she was getting frustrated. Like, she was kind of, I would say, impatient, but she was like very frustrated during this time. And so I remember, I still remember this very vividly. Okay, we had this one event, right? We had this picnic, okay? After a young adult service, we had this picnic. And there was this one guy in our young adult group that I could tell liked Susan, okay? He really liked her, and he would like flirt with her and talk with her. And I would get it was this. I would be like this. I would get super angry, right? And I remember specifically this time where we had this picnic event after, and we for some reason we drove separately, right? So I had to do stuff at church, finish up some stuff, and so I drove later to the picnic, and then I still remember I drive up to the picnic, and then I see Susan and this guy. His name was Don. Susan and Don, they were like throwing this football with each other, and I just remember sitting in the car like getting so angry. I mean, it really was like this picture. I was like so intense, like anger that I was feeling. I'm like, wow, where is this coming from? Like really, really upset. I was really, really jealous, okay? And then we ended up talking during the picnic. We had this huge fight. Anyway, it just turned out really bad. It turned out really bad, okay? But that's what comes to mind when I think about this intense jealousy. And it's really interesting because God says, this is part of my character. And I was thinking, how can this be part of your character? Because when I look back at myself, I look really embarrassed, right? I'm embarrassed of what I was and how I acted and how I respond, being so intensely jealous. And then when I was thinking about this, like, how could God call himself Kanna? And how could this be one of his names? And then that's when the Lord started showing me there's a difference when he's jealous versus when we're jealous. Because when we're jealous, and we're jealous of other people, I'm jealous of other people, and I don't want anyone else to be talking with my wife. I don't want anyone else to be close to my wife. What is that really saying? I'm really saying, I'm it. I'm everything. I can complete her. I provide everything that she needs. I don't want anyone else to be with her. I don't want anyone else to be close with her. I don't want anyone else to connect with her, just me. On a human level, that's faulty. That's not true. I can't provide everything for her. I'm not everything for her. But God, when God says that, it is true. That's the difference between our jealousy and God's jealousy. When we're jealous, it comes from our insecurity. It comes from trying to hold on to something too tightly. When we're jealous, we're saying that I want to provide everything for this person. I don't want this person to get anything from anyone else. I can't say that because that's not true. But God can. When he is jealous for us, this is what he's saying. I can provide everything for you. I don't want you to get that from somebody else. I want to provide that for you. I want to bring that security for you. I want to bring that strong foundation for you that you can live and be free. I want to provide that because I'm the only one that can. So when I thought about this, and I thought about this Kanna, it actually changed my perspective, and I said, this is actually pretty beautiful. Can you think about the Lord being jealous for you? Think about that intense feeling that you've had if you were jealous. Think about that intense desire for this other person. And can you think about the Lord having that for you? He wants you so much. He loves you so much. It's like a consuming fire. He's so jealous for you that he wants to be Lord for you. He wants to be that for you, that he gives himself that name. Even though it can be read negatively, he still gives himself that name for us to understand his heart and his desire for us. Practically, how does that look out? One of the things that the Lord was speaking to me, he was saying to me, as much as you want to be with me, I want to be with you more than that. This was really helpful for me because when we think about us wanting to be with the Lord, when we think about us spending time with the Lord, a lot of times we think it's us doing it. It's us initiating. We think that when we read the Bible or when we pray that we're trying to draw close to God, when really that's not true. The Lord is the one initiating. He is the one connecting to us. He is the jealous God that is pursuing after us. It's not our doing. Right? And when I thought about this, the Lord gave me this picture of a treasure chest, okay? And if you think about this treasure chest, look at this treasure chest. It's got a big lock on it, okay? And what the Lord was telling me, a lot of times you're looking for the key to unlock this treasure chest, okay? And the key is like different things that we do. It's like when I read the Bible, when I fast, that'll unlock this chest. When I devote myself, when I sacrifice, that'll unlock this chest. When I discipline myself, when I read through the Bible every day, when I pray, when I do these different things, that's going to unlock the chest. When I try to do these things to unlock the chest so I can receive what is inside, the treasure that God has for me. And the Lord's saying, this is not the right picture. This is the right picture. This treasure chest is already open. The treasure chest is already open. And how was it open? It was opened by Jesus and not by you. And I think that we need to see this as a reality of our relationship with God, is that he is our treasure, that he has things for us in our life. And you don't need the key to open up the treasure, that the treasure box is already open. Our job is to enjoy the treasure. Our job is to enjoy the treasure. And I think when you think about this name, Kanna, it's helpful for us to see that, because God is the one who initiates. The Bible talks about that we love because he first loved us. He took the initiative. He's the pursuer. He's the one that came after us. Even when we didn't want a relationship with him, he's coming after us. He's pursuing us. He's coming after us. He loves us intensely. He's jealous for us. He's intensely desiring for us. This is the perspective we need to recognize, because a lot of feel like we're carrying it, but we have the wrong perspective if we think that's true. Look at this passage in Hebrews 4:16. Hebrews 4:16 says, "Therefore, let us draw near with confidence to the throne of grace, so that we may receive mercy and find grace to help in time of need." Look at this passage, the first half of this verse. It says, we need to approach the throne of grace with confidence. If it's based on you, you're not going to have confidence. If it's going to be based on you having it all together, it's going to be based upon you, like how much you're doing in this, how much you're bringing into this relationship. How much are you trying to pursue? How much are you trying to seek after God? How much are you doing? How much are you sacrificing? How much are you doing those things? If it's based on you, you're not going to be able to experience Hebrews 4:16. You're not going to approach the throne of grace with confidence. But it's based on God and his doing. We can have this. If we realize he wants to be with us more than we want to be with him, we can have this confidence. When we realize he is the pursuer, he is the initiator, we just respond. We just receive and we just respond.